Sa panahon ng mabilis na impormasyon at kaliwat kanang balita, kailangan mo ng isang channel na mapagkakatiwalaan, diretsyo at para sa bayan. Ito ang Balitang Pambansa, ang iyong bagong tahanan ng mainit na issue, tunay na impormasyon at mga balitang hindi mo dapat palampasin. Mula sa mga trending na kaganapan sa social media hanggang sa mga seryosong isyong pambansa. Bantay kami sa bawat sulok ng bansa para sa iyo. Hindi lang basta chismis, kundi validated news, mga impormasyon na may batayan at mga kwento ng tunay na buhay Pilipino. At kung gusto mong laging nauuna sa kaalaman, huwag kalimutang mag-like, mag-share at higit sa lahat, mag-subscribe. Dahil sa Balitang Pambansa, balita mo, boses mo, bayan natin ito.
Libinan? Pambira oh. Oh. Oh ito, focus lang tayo sa flood control issue ate. Huwag na yung ganyang bagay. Hindi yan nakakatulong para mapanagot ang mga nagnanakaw sa Pilipinas. At please naman, i-mention mo naman si Tambaluslos. Nakakahalata na kami sa'yo eh. Lahat inaaway mo pero si Tambi hindi. Boss mo ba yan? Nagtatanong lang po ate. Nako! Ba't pati ako napatanong dito kay Sir Jack? Ma'am Boljakan! Ma'am Maharlika! Merong tanong itong si Sir Jack. Meron siyang tanong sa'yo. Bakit daw hindi mo binabanata si Tambaluslos? Bakit itong si Yusek Gades Libiran ang iyong binabanatan? And ako totoo lang ha, hindi ako naniniwalang kabit yan nitong si General Browner. Parang hindi naman ata totoo eh, hindi naman papangalanan niyang goddess kung pangit, di ba? Pagka pinangalan sa iyo ng mga magulang mo, goddess, princess, di ba? Iba yan eh. Iba yung mga pangalan na yan, kaya yung goddess na yan, goddess na hope pa. Lahat na nasa kanya na tapos kakabit lang siya kay Browner. Di tayo naniniwala diyan. Kaya nasampan. Saka pandak na ulik ba? Si Yusek Gades papatol sa pandak na ulik ba? Yang ali na yan papatol sa pandak na ulik bang kagaya nitong si General Browner? Parang ang hirap naman atang paniwalaan noon. Di ba? Nagre-react lang naman tayo sa post nitong si Sir Jack. Huwag ganon. Pangit yung focus lang tayo sa issue ng mga anomalyang flood control. Di ba? Pero yung usapang kabitan, as long na hindi naman tayo natatamaan, hayaan ho natin silang magbanatan. Di ba? Walang problema yan. Ngayon, kung totoo man yan, hindi man yan totoo, buhay nila yan, gusto nilang magjombagan, magkabitan, wala tayong pakialam. Basta wag lang silang magnakaw sa kaban ng bayan. Respeto kay Yusek Gades Libiran, ha? Kay Yusek Gades Libiran, nasa inyo ho yan, ha? Pero ako, hindi ako naniniwalang kakabitin mo yan si General Browner. Napakalaking kasinungalingan yan. Sa pangit ni General Browner, hindi ka naman papangalan ng goddess ng magulang mo kung kakabit ka lang sa isang pangit na general. Ay, general yun, PH ha? Hindi tayo naniniwala dyan. Basta tayo dito sa PH update, kung gusto nila magkasuhan, magbanatan, nasa kanila yan. Kinasuhan naman, nalaman ng ating mga kababayan, kung yan mga andailan, hindi ko natin alam. Pero ang pinakauli natin balita, kinasuhan daw itong si Maharlikan, itong si Yusek Gades. Kung siguro sa mga pinagkakalat nitong si Boljakan, nasa kanila yan. Pero ako, sa pangit ni General Browner, kayo ho ba? Yan, ganito na lang. Pag-usapan natin yan sa comment section. Naniniwala ba kayo doon sa mga kumakalat na alingas nga sa social media na di umano, ha? Na di umano. Base na rin ito sa mga, siguro yun nga bas ni Boljakan ito, na bit ka itong si Gades Libiran nitong si Ulikbang, ano pangalan to, Branner. Naniniwala ho ba kayo dyan? Ako personally, hindi ako naniniwala dyan. Di ka naman papangalanan ng Gades ng magulang mo kung kakabit ka lang sa isang pangit na general. Sa bagay, mayaman naman. Hindi, pero di pa rin ako naniniwala dyan. Alis na tayo dyan, hayaan na natin silang magbanatan dyan. Kung gusto nyo magkabitan, magwasakan, walang problema. Pero tayo dito, Sir Jack, pupokus tayo dyan sa mga issue ng mga maano-manong flood control. At itong dalawang aso nitong si Marcos Jr., pinagsasabong ho nila eh. Sino magaling? Si Benny Abante o si Toby Chanco? Pagsabungin natin ang aso natin. Ito, sagot nitong si Toby Chanco dito kay Benny Abante.
Ngayon, ang tanong sa kanila, bakit kaya takot na takot sila na binubuhay yung issue? Wala. First, I evaluate it. Tinitignan natin. Kasi minsan, hindi naman lahat nalalaman natin. Hindi naman lahat ng serbisyo na ginagawa ng ating mga kasamahan sa opisina ay alam natin kung maayos o hindi. Hindi naman lahat ng serbisyo perfecto. May mga serbisyo na mas pwede pang ma-improve. Siyempre, makikinig tayo doon sa ating mga kritiko. No? So, ngayon, pag alam naman natin na yung iba gusto lang manira, then hindi lang natin pinapansin. But madami tayong matututunan doon sa mga criticism ng mga tao. So open ako dyan because that's the best way to improve service. No? Okay. Yung isa sa talagang pinaka tinutulak ko is yung universal social pension. No? Kasi ang problema natin ay sa ngayon, pag may SSS or GSIS, ayaw na nilang bigyan ng social pension, di ba? Pero ang hindi nila nare-realize, kung matagal na nag-retire yung ating lolo at lola, siyempre maliit na yung halaga ng social pension nila, number one. Number two, hindi naman dapat maging basehan yung SSS or GSIS sa hindi pagbigay ng social pension. Kasi magkaiba yon. Yung social pension is a social service, no? Na binibigay natin tulong. Yung GSIS o SSS, hinulugan naman nila yon nung sila ay nagtatabaho. So, siyempre, dapat may pension din sila doon. Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin na may pension sila sa SSS o GSIS na hinulugan nila, wala na silang matatanggap na social pension. Number two, na importante sa akin is yung rollover of data. No? Ibig sabihin, pag bumili tayo ng data na prepaid, pag hindi natin naubos, bakit naman hindi roll over? Dapat yan, hindi mo nagamit, ibalik sa'yo. Di ba, pag kuryente, ang binabayaran mo lang, yung nagamit mong kuryente, di ba? Pag tubig, ang binabayaran mo lang, yung nagamit mong tubig. Pero yung data plan natin, pag nagbayad tayo ng data, kasama na yung plan. Di ba, kunyari, sinabi ilang gigabyte. Bakit pag sumobra, sinisingil tayo? Pag sumobra tayo doon sa sinubscribe natin, di ba? Mapuputulan ka, magbabayad ka ng extra. Pero pag sobra naman yung binayaran natin at hindi natin na gamit, bakit hindi naman binabalik sa atin? Parang one-sided naman yata. One-sided naman yata yun, di ba? Yan, ako mismo gumawa nito, ha? Sabi ko, obvious naman na mga attack crocodile yan ni Martin Romualdez.
Ako, attack crocodile. Sino yung mga attack crocodile na yan? Kasama ba dyan si Benny Abante, Congressman Toby Chanco? Ako, maliwanag pa sa sikat ng araw. Talagang attack crocodile yan ni Martin Romualdez. Maniwala ko kayo siya hindi. Yang si Benny Abante, attack crocodile yan. Kaya yung parepent-repent niya, anak ng toko, huwag yung paniwalaan yun. Ano ho yan eh, nakakalungkot man hong isipin na ginamit ho nila yung pagiging preacher nila para magmukhang credible at ika nga iboto sila ng mga constituent nila. Yung ipapakita nila na banal sila, hindi sila makabasag pinggan, di ba? Ano sila, kumbaga, ang tawag dito, hindi sila magnanakaw. Pero ang hirap po nito mga kababayan, yung kanilang pinipresenta na ganun sila, hindi yun ang nakikita ng ating mga kababayan. Kaya ano ho yan, ika nga huwag ho tayo magpabudol, lalo na dito kay Toby Chanco at dito kay Benny Abante. Wala naman hong tama sa dalawa na yan. Parehas lang naman hong falsifikado yung mga tauhan ng dalawang magnanakaw na yan sa ating bayan. Marcos Jr., Martin Romualdez, Marcos at Romualdez, pagka narinig nyo ho yung dalawang pangalan na yan, iisa lang ho ang ginagawa ng mga yan, magnanakaw at magnanakaw ho yung mga yan.
It's my pleasure and honor to be criticized by those protecting, defending, and praising Martin Romualdez. No? So, malaking karangalan sa akin na ako'y binabatikos ng mga crocodile ni Martin Romualdez. Okay? So, nagpapakita na magkaiba talaga kami. Tapos sabi nila, wag ko daw buhayin yung mga issues, diba? No, pipilitin kong buhayin yan, mga issues dahil hanggang ngayon, wala pa namang big fish na nakukulong. So ayoko naman makalimutan ng mga tao yan. Ngayon, ang tanong sa kanila, bakit kaya takot na takot sila na binubuhay yung issue? Hindi, yung isa, yung anti-dynasty bill, di ba, pinag-usap. Yun, I think napapanahon na talagang magkaroon ng political anti-dynasty bill. Tignan lang natin kung ano yung version na ipapasa ng committee. First, basic, no? I think I would want na maramdaman yung tao na nagkaroon naman ng pagbabago sa pamumuhay nila, no? So, yan ang pinakamahalaga sa akin, not only in terms of infrastructure, kasi importante yung mga infrastruktura.
Kung ano na naman sinasabi nitong si Toby Tiangco. Punta na nga ho tayo kay Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Ikaw talaga, oo. Punta ka na lang sa Malacanang. Sabay-sabay kayo magpulburon doon. Ito, Senator Rodante Marcoleta tayo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise today to raise a constitutional alarm. We are witnessing an unusual situation in our bureaucracy today. At a time when local unrest and tumultuous global headwinds threaten the well-being of our kababayans, a growing number of crucial government agencies are being led not by duly confirmed cabinet secretaries, but by officials merely serving in an acting capacity. And this brings us to a disturbing reality in our bureaucracy today. Mr. President, what is at stake is not merely the reputation of individuals, but the integrity of our public institutions. As we speak, several key government agencies are being run by acting secretaries, officials who wield immense power, control billion-peso budgets, and approve critical infrastructure projects, yet have not undergone confirmation. These agencies include 1, Office of the Executive Secretary, Department of Finance, Department of Public Works and Highways, number 4, Department of Justice, number 5, Department of Budget and Management, 6, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, 7, Department of Transportation, and the last, the Presidential Communications Office. Hindi ito mga maliliit o mga basta-basta ng ahensya, Mr. President. These are core institutions of our government. They control our money, they enforce our laws, they build our infrastructure, they defend sovereignty. They speak for the President and the Republic. They are alter egos of the President. Nevertheless, they are run by officials whose appointments or nominations have never been submitted to the Commission on Appointments for confirmation. Why does this matter, Mr. President? Because the Constitution did not leave this to discretion. Section 16, Article 7 of the 1987 Constitution provides, and I quote, "The President shall nominate and with the consent of the Commission on Appointments appoint the heads of the executive departments, ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls or officers of the armed forces from rank of colonel or naval captain, and other officers whose appointments are vested in him in this Constitution." The Constitution is very clear, Mr. President. It compels the President to nominate or appoint heads of executive departments, among others, and submit their appointments to the CA. The word "shall" makes it mandatory, not optional, restrictive, not permissive. Yet this constitutional command is being defied. Let me be precise, Mr. President. There is nothing inherently illegal about an acting secretary. The law allows it. The continuity of the government demands it, but what is dangerous is when acting becomes permanent by design. Our acting secretaries have been running major cabinet departments for months on end. Some for 2 or 4 months now, and one for over half a year. And up to this day, Mr. President, none of their appointment letters have been transmitted to the CA. Needless to say, The delay is not on the part of the CA. We cannot confirm what is never submitted. If Malacanang does not transmit the appointments, the Constitutional Commission is made powerless. Under the rules of the Civil Service Commission, enacting capacity entails not only the exercise of the ministerial functions attached to the position, but also the exercise of discretion since the person designated is deemed to be incumbent of the position. They can issue policies, approve projects, sign contracts, and approve expenditure of public funds. They wield all the authority of permanent secretaries while evading constitutional scrutiny and consent.
Tama naman
Mr.
si
President,
Sandati dyan.
The Constitution envisions a system of checks and balances, not convenience and circumvention. The Commission on Appointments was precisely restored under the 1987 Constitution to prevent the danger of allowing key positions to be filled without scrutiny, accountability, or constitutional restraint. We need to ensure that those entrusted with immense power are fit, competent, and worthy of public trust. Thus, the rigorous deliberations conducted by the Commission, and when the executive repeatedly relies on acting appointments, it weakens that constitutional safeguard and sends the wrong signal to the bureaucracy. Why the key cabinet members allowed to exercise full powers of their offices while never being presented before the CA for scrutiny? There can be many reasons, Mr. President. But one fact cannot be denied. This allows the executive to effectively create de facto permanent secretaries. This turns temporary designations into a tool of permanent power. Unfortunately, this kind of circumvention is nothing new. This representation has also previously noted and brought into attention the non-confirmation of the chairperson and board members of the Basis Convention Development Authority, or BCDA, which is a direct defiance of Republic Act number 7227, or the law that created the BCDA. This, alongside the continuing non-submission of appointments or nominations of officials serving in acting capacity to the CA, clearly undermines the constitutional mandate imposed upon by the Constitution. If the President has confidence in these officials, their appointments should have been sent to the CA promptly. Let us not allow the Republic to be ruled by officials who hold power without constitutional legitimacy, Mr. President.
Pambihira to talagang si Bangag, ibang klase ho talaga itong mga to. Dapat pagka-appoint na itong si Ralph Recto, kung sino man yung mga nasa gabinete niya na hindi dumaan sa CA, automatic na yan. Dapat padaanin na kagad sa committee on appointment. Di ba? Kailangan ko siya, parang betting process. Di ba, betting process yun, kung ikaw ba i-qualify doon sa particular na pwesto na yun na ibinibigay sa'yo ng mga adik sa Malacanang. May bagahe ka ba? May corruption issue ka ba? Di ba? Ilan ba yung kabit mo? Ilang kabyar na ba nakain mo? Mga tanong na dapat tinatanong yun sa sa CA. Kung ako kasama sa CA, una kong tatanong, ilan yung kabit mo, sir? Di ba? Gaano karaming bahay mo sa Forbes Park? Yun dapat mga ganong tanong. Di ba, Sendante?
Because when appointments are withheld, the constitutional safeguard is effectively destroyed. Make no mistake, this call fully respects the separation of powers. But even more than that, Mr. President, this affirms our constitutional duty to check and balance power so that no branch, no office, and no official stands above the law. Let us remember, when leadership is temporary, responsibility becomes temporary. And when responsibility is temporary, corruption finds room to grow. We must not allow that, Mr. President. The people deserve more than paperwork. The people deserve more than excuses. The people deserve leadership that is permanent, accountable, and answerable. Sa huli, malinaw ang panawagan ng sambayanang Pilipino. Hindi sapat ang pansamantalang pamumuno sa mga ensyang may hawak ng buhay, kabuhayan at kaligtasan ng ating mga mamamayan. Ang pananagutan ay hindi maaaring acting lamang. Dapat ito'y ganap, malinaw at matatag. Sapagkat sa likod ng bawat pansamantalang desisyon at iniiwasang pananagutan, naroroon ang sambayanang patuloy na nagdurusa tumihiling ng buong pananagutan mula sa kanilang pamahalaan. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Palakpakan ho natin si Senator Rodante Marcoleta dahil kailangan ho talaga yan. No, kailangan nating malaman, Pilipino ba yan, di ba? Kasi isa sa mga gabinete dati ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, hindi ho yan na-appoint dahil doon sa problema niya sa kanya citizenship. Ngayon dito sa mga gabinete ni Marcos Jr., hindi ho natin alam kung yan ba mga yan talagang kwalipikadong humawak ng ganyang kataas sa pwesto. Alter ego di ba? Ngayon, hindi nga natin malaman si Marcos Jr. kung nasan pala siya ngayong mga panahon na ito. Dapat itong si VP Sara, mag-ready na siya kasi anumang oras mula ngayon, baka bigla siya maging presidente. Hindi ho, hindi ho yung sakit ni Marcos Jr., hindi daw ho basta-basta ang sakit yun. Pagka na-diagnose yun na huli na, delikado. Pero pagka ngayon pa lang na-diagnose, yung tipong maagang na-discover yung mga verticulitis na yan, madali lang daw agapin. Pero pagka medyo late na, yun, medyo merong komplikasyon. Merong problema. Infection daw ang aabutin mo dyan magtatanungan pa ho pala itong si Pinky at saka itong si Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Game, question
The
natin.
President Pro Tem, Senator Ping Lacson is recognized.
Tanong nga tayo.
Thank you, Mr. President. If the distinguished gentleman from Pampanga and Tarlac will yield to maybe one or two questions.
Yes, Mr. President.
First, I'd like to associate myself because this has been lingering for quite some time, and there's so many session breaks that I remember Secretary Dizon has been acting secretary, and during a lunch meeting with Secretary Recto, acting Secretary Recto, acting Executive Secretary, I even reminded him, sabi ko sa kanya, Ralph, mag-re-resume na yung session namin. Kailangan humingi na kayo ng ad interim appointment para ma-take up kayo ng commission on appointments. Pag inabot kayo ng session, resumption ng session, you will just be nominated and you cannot perform unless confirmed. So my question, Mr. President, is in terms of authority and mandate, ano po ba ang difference ng full-time secretary and an acting secretary?
Ayan. Ano yung kanya na kumbaga yarin lamang since hindi ka nga naman pala abogado at si Senator Rodante Marcoleta ay napakahusay na abogado at investigador din. Dito na, magkakaalaman na ho tayo.
Mr. President, pareho lang po yung kanilang gawain, pareho lang ang kanilang pananagutan, ngunit ang pinag-uusapan po yung pagiging opisyal sana, hindi magiging temporary, hindi acting sana, para sa ganon ang kanilang gawain po sana ay palaging nakasalig po sa kagustuhan ng ating saligang batas.
Correct.
Kaya po nangangamba po ang representasyon na ito kung puro acting po, lalabas po silang overacting lahat pagdating ng araw, Mr. President.
In other words, a full-time secretary can perform some long-term policy planning and direction, while an acting secretary, since temporary, short-term lang yung kanyang policy. Yes, Mr.
May I
President.
interject? As far as I recall, an acting secretary may not appoint anyone in his cabinet. That's the way I recall it, and I don't think he is allowed to sign for a certain amount of budget or funds. That's why an ad interim appointment is important. That's how I recall it. I can stand corrected later on.
Yeah, I think that is correct, Your Honor, Mr. President. There is some kind of limitation when a secretary has been appointed in an acting capacity. There are several conditions that attach to it, and sometimes he cannot perform some of the things that are within his jurisdiction.
That's why, Mr. President, I'm wondering why Malacanang has not issued ad interim appointments, because as mentioned by the distinguished gentleman from Tarlac, marami to, DOTR, DPWH, Executive Secretary, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Department of Budget and, no, acting lang talaga si, parang OIC na si Yosek Toledo because career. Secretary of Finance, at least 7, PCO, at least 7 cabinet secretaries are in acting capacity. So I wonder why Malacanang, in spite of, I've reminded even Acting Secretary Bida during the last Blue Ribbon hearing. I approached him, you better remind Secretary Recto about our conversation that you should be given ad interim appointments.
Ay, sa DOJ, yung sa DOJ ba yan? Yung pag ganyan din yung bunganga nung marap siya dyan sa Senado? Si Secretary Bida, yung acting DOJ Secretary. Na-appoint na ba yun? Naku, ba't hindi dumadaan sa Committee on Appointment ng mga tauhan ni Marcos Jr.? Paano natin malalaman kung ika nga competent sila dyan sa ano na yan, particular na pesto na yan, wala silang mga bagahe. Mahirap na, di ba?
Because we'll be resuming session on Monday. I remember telling him that. And he said, yes, that's the reason why I'm leaving because I'm having a meeting with the acting executive secretary. But even then, wala rin po nangyari. Kasi nag-resume na tayo last Monday and no ad interim appointments were signed by the president. I wonder why this is the case, Mr. President. Do you have would like to venture a guess or you have an information?
Your guess is as good as mine, Mr. President. The graver problem is the CA cannot even act on its constitutional duty because they cannot be confirmed even if the President would like it to be so, because the CA cannot confirm a secretary who is in an acting capacity. CA can only confirm secretaries who were designated with an ad interim ad interim capacity. So we will be facing a dilemma, Mr. President, that whether Malacanang would submit their names, but these are all in acting capacity, I don't think the CA can act on them because they are not in ad interim
Committed,
capacity,
yes.
Mr. President.
Based on a Supreme Court decision, a cabinet official who is in an acting capacity may only serve for 1 year. There is a Supreme Court decision to that effect. And then what would happen would be circumvention if they are appointed again in an acting capacity and avoiding the Commission on Appointments. Now, may we know how many? I hate interpolating from the chair, no, but in as much as you are discussing it already, may we know how many cabinet officials are now in an acting capacity?
As I mentioned, Mr. President, at least 8.
No, grabe, ang dami. Ilan ba gabinete ng presidente? Ilan ba yung cabinet member? Bihira, at least 8. So kalahati ng mga kaharap niya sa lamesa, pagka-cabinet meeting sila, hindi dumaan ng committee on appointment? Commission on appointment?
What about the DENR?
Also, the DNR is included, Mr. President. I guess he will be the victim of the three-strike policy that the CA has
Because he was
already...
bypassed twice.
Nakadalawa na kasi, Mr. President.
Yes, so he was bypassed twice. The second bypass was in December. All right? Now, was he appointed after that?
He should have been appointed in ad interim capacity.
So what is
Before,
there is no secretary of the DNR right now. Is that correct?
That's also my question.
Senator,
Problematic ho talaga. Ganyan ho talaga pagka bangag ka. Anak ng tokwa, gabinete mo na nga lang, hindi mo pa maayos ang hindi mo pa masalansan ng maayos, di ba? Gabinete mo yan eh. Anak ng tokwa, yun yung pinaka-lifeline mo. Yaan yung mga tumatrabaho doon sa mga vital na ahensya ng pamahalaan at rinirelay sa iyo kung ano yung mga problema. Kung lahat yan pala merong problema, paano makakapag-desisyon na maayos itong si Marcos Jr.? Paano dahil ang tag dito, hindi man sila dumaan dyan sa CA, kahit ano na lang gawin nila. Tapos yung mga interest na lang nila itutulak nila dahil alam naman nila ng halimbawa na lang yung mga nasa dyan sa Department of